Awesome. So welcome, Jeanne. Really excited to have you here. To everybody who's watching, we have Jeanne Ryhill with us. She's currently located outside Chicago, and she's been with the Vagus Nerve Stimulation Repair Program for a little bit of time now. She's been in our 15-week program and had some success that she'd love to share with us. Her story is awesome. We just wanted to kind of hear about that and just have a normal conversation. So Jeanne, how are you doing today? How's everything going?
Oh, wonderful. Thank you very much for asking.
Yeah, of course. If you don't mind starting with what exactly, what did your life look like prior to joining our program, and what kind of got you into joining?
Well, I had been seeking a lot of answers for chronic pain issues and actually was also diagnosed with Hashimoto's, which is a thyroid autoimmune issue that maybe 4 years ago. And also I had worked a lot with that and with my diet and went paleo primal food, gluten-free, basically dairy-free and soy-free, but it didn't seem to be the answers. There was still something missing. And I also then, about a year ago, was diagnosed with sleep apnea. And so I thought that would be the answer. Mm-hmm. And that I was working with a dentist with an oral appliance device, and I didn't go the CPAP route. So I thought eventually that would be the answer to my issues also, that I wasn't able to heal this chronic pain that I had in my hips that became kind of an issue. I'm a former athlete, or maybe kind of still am.
Still an athlete, right?
Yeah. So I involved in CrossFit, and I also have a Peloton bike. And so I try to stay active and work around these, I hate to call them injuries, because all of a sudden it just sometimes became chronic issues. It wasn't like I was used to playing a sport in college where I had a physical injury, and then you could ice it and use different other things to heal, and
Mm-hmm.
That healed within a particular time, so it wasn't
Mm-hmm.
chronic.
Yeah.
So over the years, a lot of stuff had become chronic, and I also have a neck issue that is over time is I've been working with a chiropractor to hopefully restore the curve. I have a straight neck, and so so basically I had searched for a lot of things over the years and thinking that that one thing was the answer. And then I read a book called Breathe, I think, or Breath, by James Nestor about a year ago now, and started some breath work. And somehow something came into my feed or Facebook feed, and it was Sterling Cooley's Vagus Nerve program, and I signed up to become just the general membership.
Yeah, of course.
That he kept talking about his program. It seemed like he was the guy in charge. So then at some point I'm like, hey, hey, get on a call with him. So I guess sometime this last fall, I had a nice, really good call with him, and thought, and I had come across the Vagus information at some point and thought that might be a potential, but I hadn't really pursued it. So I wasn't completely new to the term, and I had come across it with maybe in the breath work or whatever. So and I was with that sleep apnea issue. I had done a little bit of myofunctional therapy, which is also some work to hopefully tone the back palate of my mouth, that thought that could also help with the issue. But this seemed to be a little bit more potential, bigger solution to a lot more issues. Mm-hmm. So when I talked to Sterling, we also talked, I didn't even talk about gut issues specifically or anything, but I think I was still experiencing some gut stuff, and then it was kind of interesting is that, the vagus nerve innervating also that area for peristalsis. So it just seemed to speak to me as a potential overarching solution, maybe.
Yeah, of
to
course.
all of my issues.
Yeah,
And it's all like with the neck.
Yeah, of course. And some with your background, to your benefit as a forensic biologist, you came in with a data-driven perspective. So you wanted something that you knew that could potentially give you the results you were looking for. And with such a wide array of different issues you were dealing with, chronic pain in your hips, sounds like, as well as issues with sleep apnea, and then also areas with at the gut-brain axis. The current studies that have been done around the vagus nerve, a lot of these things, whether it's chronic pain and or issues with the gut itself, can be somewhat to fully cured and or healed through vagus nerve stimulation, including the therapy and the exercises we offer. And so it sounds like you had a good call with Sterling, and then you got started in our program. What was your experience like at the beginning of the program? Did you start noticing any effects, or how your just daily livelihood changed?
Yeah, I think I'm not sure when I started noticing. Of course, I love that there was tons of information. Of course, that also speaks to me. Like there's like an abundance of information, which is helpful if that's what you want, is to understand, the background of the science part too. And so I definitely, over time, I would say 15 weeks later, yes, the pain has definitely decreased. And I think one of the other pillars of this program has to do with I don't know, it's the mental health.
Yeah, the mindset training and the coaching calls.
Mindset training. And there was a point where one of those calls, the idea of letting go of some issues, that also it was kind of almost unbelievable to me as a scientist, where I sat in this call and the thought of just letting go of something seemed to, and I shouldn't say seem, it did decrease the pain that I was experiencing just as we were sitting in that call. I would say it probably reduced by half. It was,
wow, that's incredible.
I mean, for me, I don't want to sound skeptical. It was like, okay, was that real? And it lasted. That's the interesting part for me. It's like sometimes, like I would walk out of a place, let's say a chiropractic or a massage, and you'd like, oh yeah, I feel better, but nothing lasted. Nothing.
Yeah, it doesn't carry on.
So, other people seem to have those experiences where it's like, oh, it's massage, wonderful, blah, blah, blah. And I'm always like, yeah, it was good. But
yeah. So, yeah, for this one day.
Yeah. For, maybe the time you were in there. But yeah, this definitely did last, and it has lasted, and it's actually kept getting better. And there's, again, unexpected for me, the amount of the mind-body connection. I mean, I know I've heard those words, but I think being an athlete of the generation where it was like rub some dirt on it, you just fought through that kind of stuff. And you think that it's not really mental, right? Or brain or something. So, but also now learning, there's a bunch of science that goes on with that part too. So that also then was like, oh, okay. So it also then spoke to me a little, more that there's not, there's a whole science behind that part too.
There is, yeah. And the what I think is deemed as the growing field of psychoneurobiology, understanding the like what we can understand between our own psychology and how that affects the functionality of our body and what occurs. And it sounds like in one of those coaching calls, you really had somewhat of a cathartic experience where there's this release in your body. Going into these coaching calls, we want to lead our clients to a place where they can just let go, whatever they may be holding on to, whether they're aware of it or not, what that is. And it sounds like that was some of your experience. So that's really exciting.
Yeah. And you just mentioned too, is that the neck strengthening exercises to help my neck, and still visiting the chiropractor to hopefully, like I said, restore the curve, but hopefully with the neck exercises that will keep the you know, the manipulations in place longer to hopefully, or actually move the structure, because I am working with a special type of chiropractor that does, you know, moving the neck, hopefully from a straight, because my neck can go, it's physically able to go back. So we know that. So then it's nice to be able to do the neck exercises to also help with the structure.
Yeah. So and as with your experience, you've been very consistent, following all of our routines, following the physical therapy, exercise, showing up to the group coaching. That is what I think has really allowed you to see the growth you have seen, and come out on this other side, being able to share your story. Was there anything else that you noticed during this program that really stood out to you, or is it just a slow, gradual progression, having less pain, feeling a little bit lighter, it sounds like, as well?
Yeah, I think that the coaching with that part has been really helpful, and the letting go, the understanding some of that stuff more. I have not, for myself, I've never done any of this group coaching, mental health type stuff. And so this is my first experience, and it's a very good experience. And the groups group is really, it's being led by Caitlin, who does a great job.
Yeah, she's awesome.
Really good at it. She's really good. So obviously Sterling has chosen really good people, and so that also adds to this program.
Added, adds to the pot.
So
it's all mixing it in there. That's really cool. Well, thank you for sharing that with me. Just a couple more questions. If you looking at our whole, since you were in the full program, utilizing our technology, utilizing the virtual reality, the mindset training, and the physical therapy and coaching calls, how would you rate your overall experience?
Oh, it's definitely a 10. I mean, it's just like,
oh wow, okay, cool.
I mean, the quality of the program is, Sterling keeps trying to improve, which also is something that that also speaks to me, someone that's always willing to keep learning. He's always, posting information, and trying to, anyone trying to improve the program and continuing to improve, to me, it's like they're not standing on what they have done or what they've helped. So they're looking for new ways to keep getting better and better. So yeah, and my expectation would be that, yes, he's going to keep trying to improve, and he's going to keep learning more stuff. And yeah, and by the time if someone's joining today, wow, they're definitely coming in at a good time, and I don't see the programs being stagnant ever.
Okay, yeah, of course. And that's what we're all hoping for, is keep this train moving full throttle. It's people like yourselves that really inspire us to keep coming back every day and making sure our clients get to a state and of feeling top notch, and whatever it takes to get there. The last question I do have, just kind of looking back at your former self and who you have kind of transformed and become, or just to anyone out there who kind of may be on the fence, when you were just, thinking about this in your head and like, is this program really right for me? This whole vagus nerve thing, is there anything you tell your former self, or just someone who's like, I don't know, like they may have some issues with chronic pain, sleep issues, gut issues as well? What would you tell that person?
Yeah, I think that the vagus nerve does play such an important part, and that it may take a little bit of time, and I would definitely suggest joining for a longer period of time, because most people that are probably looking at something like this is probably issues going on for a long time. I would say that my chronic pain's probably, maybe 10 years
Wow.
of issues. And I think, I guess I didn't know exactly what I was completely getting into, but I'm glad I took the chance. I, like I said, it kind of, the way, Sterling, the science part of him, explain it to me, it really spoke to me as something that I felt was going to benefit. And everything I've tried up to this point, there's been things that have helped, and that's, but I think that this has been significant. I'm not pain-free at this point, but I think I've been in the state for quite a long time that to be significantly improved. About a year ago, I was in quite a bit of pain. So sometimes it's reflect back on what it was like a year ago, you kind of seem to forget.
Yeah, totally. But
because I was still, because I was still walking around and stuff. I wasn't bedridden, so but I definitely had significant pain and sometimes it was mentally challenging to go do a workout or on certain days because of that. And
of course,
so
well, it sounds like by the time this pandemic is coming to an end here, hopefully at least parts of it, as they start, reopening more gyms and allowing access without masks, you're going to be in the perfect position to be on your A game, ready to go, in the right mental state, be like, all right, well, now I've gone 3 days in a row and I'm feeling like, hopefully the best possible state you can. And that's our goal, essentially, especially as you do finish this program, that you can go further into life past our program and continue on seeing results and making sure that you are feeling empowered and feeling physically well. So, I mean, it's really exciting and just been a pleasure to get to witness that here with you.
Well, thank you very much. Yes, it's definitely a wonderful program, and I would definitely say take a chance. And, it's, I'm sure that, I think one last thing is, I know that Sterling kind of said, well, how much have you spent doing other things? And when you add it all up, it was like, probably this wasn't nearly as much of what I've spent on the journey, right? So it was, take a chance, I guess.
Yeah, hopefully one little fraction that led to many standard deviations in improving your health, it sounds like. So that's exciting stuff. Thank you so much for being on this call with me, everyone here listening. We really appreciate your time, giving Jeanne and I a chance to speak to you about her story. It's honestly just really cool to hear it. I hope you have a wonderful day, and that'll be it.
Thank you, Gabriel.
Thank you.